Hello, I'm Carrie George with CIBN TV on YouTube as well as with the CIBN.com. And I'm coming to you live today on Facebook on several different channels, including the Women's Entrepreneur Network, which I am really excited about because today I have with me my very good friend, Haley Gray.
Hey, hello.
Yay! And the crowd goes wild. And Haley, of course, is an Uber networker, and she is an awesome business professional getting it done in the marketing space. And I'm so thrilled to have you here with me today, Haley, to talk about all the things that you do and what we're going to be doing together and this upcoming summit that is happening in April. So I'm pretty jacked about it all. Haley, tell everybody, for those that are listening that don't really know who you are, tell us, what do you do and what kind of client do you serve?
So I jokingly say we fix really broken marketing. We spend a lot of time fixing broken websites, broken funnels, broken ad campaigns, and really helping clients make more money in a way that makes absolute sense to them and helps them grow their businesses. So we're doing websites, social media ads, all the things. I think what I'm most known for online in the online space is on growing communities, because one of the things that I'm a big believer of is managing social media well and using that social media for myself and for my clients to build a community around that. So it's really, really exciting to me because, when you can build a community and when you can start to build that platform and that group and that network, that's where a lot of our business comes from. And I think Carrie just went kerpoof out of like nowhere. So I'm guessing that she's got tech gremlins, and I'm going to keep talking. I'm really, really excited to be doing this live with Carrie during her summit that she's doing and during her time here in the live and all of these kinds of things. And this is so exciting. And you just went kerpoof.
Oh, I'm here. Can you see me
I
okay?
can see you now.
Okay, awesome. So in the Facebook world, you have
Mhm.
a really, really big Facebook group. And I know you're being modest here and not really, you're talking about building community. But what our listeners might not realize is that you have a Facebook group called Women's Entrepreneur Network, which is 76,000 female entrepreneurs strong on Facebook.
Mhm.
So that is a significant accomplishment, and the crowd
Thank
should
you.
go, yay, they shall go wild,
Thanks.
because that is really amazing. And you've learned how to monetize that group as well. Tell us a little bit about that group.
Right. So I started that group in April of 2015. So people think, overnight success, right? It's been a long, slow growing kind of thing. And one of the things that I set out with that vision is to provide a really supportive, carefully curated environment for people to grow their businesses in. So one of the things that you'll see is that like we curate content going into the group. We're really careful about how much we promote. We're careful about what we promote. And we're really here to provide that opportunity for other people to build their networks and their connections, not just about, hey, promo, 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 promo. And then we've also monetized the group in a variety of different ways and continue to grow the platform and expand out of just being on Facebook, but to also being on other platforms as well and growing businesses that way.
Yeah, it's been amazing to watch the whole thing, and I also have some groups, but I don't have any of that size, although I do have some that have of a few thousand in them. But it was one of the things that attracted me to Haley was to find out more about how do you build something like that. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in business as well? Where do you come
So,
from, Haley?
where do I come from? So, I'm actually a software engineer with an MBA. Is my background. I got my MBA from Duke in 2013 and got a concentration in entrepreneurship and innovation. And I put together a business plan for growing a home care agency, a senior non medical private duty home care agency. So, total like left turn. because I'd gone through the ringer with my own parents. And while I was at Duke working my full-time job, I was actually doing some consulting on the side and working with some small business owners. And it eventually became kind of this like side hustle-y gig kind of a thing that I was doing. And when I left my corporate job in 2013, I swore I would never write another line of code because I was managing people, I was doing things, I had my newly minted MBA. And what was really kind of funny was that as I was growing my home care agency, people kept coming to me with really broken websites, really broken marketing, needing to put together and analyze a business plan and their numbers because people don't always understand any of this stuff, the numbers, the data, any of it. And so I was starting to do some consulting with small businesses while I was doing that. And in 2015, my oldest daughter had a fall from a horse and sustained a traumatic brain injury. And it totally changed our lives. It flipped our lives upside down. We've gone through many, many hospitalizations since with a traumatic brain injury and psychiatric and other physical effects that she's had. And so I sold my home care agency in 2016, about 9 or 10 months after her TBI, and just started focusing on Women's Entrepreneur Network and on doing business consulting and on doing social media because it was fun and easy and websites and all those things. So that's kind of where the roots of my business have come from.
That's awesome. And tell us about your passion. Like, what drives you to do this? Like, what is your why behind all of this?
So I actually because I come from an engineering background, a computer science background. It's a very heavily male dominated field. And there are very few women, and getting promoted as a woman is difficult. There are some companies out there that do promote women just because they're women, and I didn't really want to be in that category. So I went back to Duke partially to get that MBA to prove that I had the credentials and I had the information and that education that, women need in order to get ahead in corporate and start working up the ladder. And I looked around at my class at Duke and it was 10% women. And that to me is like, oh my gosh. So not only are we seeing fewer women getting into STEM fields, fewer women getting into computer science, but we're also seeing fewer women getting the education. And then I started down the rabbit hole with entrepreneurship and women in leadership. And I started looking at, the numbers for women in leadership, women in entrepreneurship, and how women's businesses grow in leadership and in entrepreneurship. And it's really interesting to me. And, we don't see the same kind of return on our investment. We're not getting paid at the same rate as our male counterparts. It is really hard for women to get paid at the exact same rate as men. And I mean, I saw it throughout my own career. When I started at IBM in 96, I was actually out earning my husband. By the time I had kids, 10 years later, I was making so much less than he was. And, we were at the same pay grade. We were at the same pay levels. And I just wasn't seeing the same kinds of, advancement opportunities that he was. And it was just really kind of this whole thing that became this like snowball effect for me, and it's like, why are there fewer women in tech? Why are there fewer women in entrepreneurship? Why? Why? And then how do I change that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a long road to get to where we are today, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. This is not something that was just something I was like, oh, I woke up one morning and I thought I would do it. I mean, although I did have a business coach who said, start a Facebook group, it'll make you $1 million. And it has. But I mean, it came out of a place of, oh, I can do that. I can change the world. I was already working towards that larger goal. And I mean, it's part of why I have formed my group the way I have. It's primarily women and a few smart men, because I recognize that a lot of times men are our best advocates and, supporters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So looking back on where you got started way back, way back, like when I said we all got off the ark 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm. When the dinosaurs were still roaming the earth.
Exactly. Way back then. If you could talk to your younger self, when you were brand new in business way back then, um, what do you think that you would say to yourself if you were talking to your younger self?
You know, interestingly enough, I would say, stop trying to follow the rules. I spent a lot of time early on in my life following other people's rules. I'm not sure how much of my current trajectory would have changed, at least through 2013, because I had 4 young kids. Um, so working in a 9 to 5 job for me was very convenient. I got a regular paycheck. I made a lot of money. I paid my childcare. I had the best of both worlds in many, many ways. Um, but I will say that now that I am a business owner, that the flexibility that has given me has actually inversely also given me a lot more flexibility and allowed me time to manage my daughter's healthcare needs and her hospitalizations and nonstop meetings with social workers and all of the things that end up happening there. I mean, I very much spend 10 to 20 hours a week managing her healthcare needs.
Yeah. Yeah, that can be really daunting to have those kinds of things happening. I'm seeing that some of our listeners here are making some
Yeah,
really great points.
absolutely. And I do spend more time caregiving in some form. It used to be much more even between my husband and I when I was working a full time job and before my daughter's traumatic brain injury. But what ended up happening when that happened is that, he is an extremely competent parent. But this is next level, dealing with doctors, dealing with navigating a really difficult hospital, insurance, psychiatric, mental health care system, going through getting funding, legal guardianship, and all those types of things just required a very different set of skills that wasn't just parenting. So it's, negotiation and towing the line and, sometimes pulling the game of mine are bigger than yours. Do you want to try me? And that persistence. And it's a very different skill set than just being a parent and the caregiving, just regular aspects. And,
Wow.
that's not who he is.
Right. Right. Well, as you've been growing this business,
Mhm.
you've probably met a lot of people that have actually impacted you and helped you in all these personal realms as well
Absolutely.
in the networking. Overall, in your life and in your business, how important has networking been?
It has literally been life-saving. Um, I probably would not be alive today if it weren't for the networking. And I know that probably sounds melodramatic, but bear with me. Um, my oldest daughter has had some really scary stuff going on psychiatrically. Um, and, she's in a great place now, but that has not always been the case. And the fact that I was able to lean on my network to get resources when we need it, desperately needed them, kept everybody alive because she was homicidal at one point and had a plan to kill us. And had it not been for resources in my network who literally stepped in and said, you need to do this, now you need to do this, and now you need to do that, I would not be standing here.
Yeah, it's true. You know what? I have felt that as well. I've also had some um, issues with mental health in our family, and a lot of the resources that we use came from our network.
Mhm.
And so it not only helped me in my business, it helped me in my life. And I've
Yeah.
seen that over and over again. I've seen people have stronger relationships in their marriages because they're part of the business network. I've seen
Mhm.
them,
Yeah.
repair relationships from years and years ago because of
Mhm.
someone they met in the business network.
Yeah.
So this is not just networking is not just about I'm going to
Mm-mm.
get a lead, I'm going to get a referral, I'm going to make it to my next day or till the next week. It is so much more than that.
Yeah.
And when it comes to business too, when you change the bottom line of your business, it gives you choices. Now you can actually use the resources, because otherwise, if you're trying to live off of the the free help that is out there in the world. There's only so much you can get done with the free help that's out there in the world. So it's incredibly important that you have enough income. In fact, for me, that was a driving force to really become involved in a business network, was because my daughter had needs and they were extreme. They were going to cost a lot of money. And, I realized the cavalry wasn't coming, and it was up to Mama Bear to get out there and start making a higher living so that we could actually, have the resources that she needed when she was going to need them. And then, of course, that's just the instant thing that was needed right then. There was always that nagging thing at the back of your mind about, what about when these kids want to go to college? And what about when these kids need this? And what about the unforeseen things that you weren't going to even know or have a heads up on until that's right there, like a train light coming straight at you. So, I know that you build your business for tomorrow as much as you do for today, just like I do. So
Absolutely.
it's really cool. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, in the networking world, what is your most favorite and best tip ever for people?
It's to approach it with an eye towards actually building relationships, not so much about, hey, where is my next lead coming from? It's more about, how can I help you? How can I be of service? I'm a big believer in the go-giver principle from Bob Berg. The more that I approach people with a air and an energy of helping and connecting and building real relationships, the better my business does. Not everything about what we do is about making a quick buck. And I can tell you that a lot of what we do is not selling people things. Yeah, we can do ads, but if you don't have a strategy behind those ads, there's really kind of no point in doing them, and it's a waste of money. So let's figure out the strategy first. And you may decide never to do ads, or you may decide to do minimal ads. So really being smart about it, and building those relationships. And people have built trust in me because I'm not here to just sell them stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you were going to give people 3 big tips for business, something that they could take today and use and implement in their business, what 3 big tips would you have for everybody today?
I would say that, your business is going to depend strongly on the power of your network, your personal network. The more you can network, the more you can build relationships with people, the more you can connect to people through alumni groups or your church or whatever. Those are important sources of business connections and personal connections. I can't overstate their value and their importance. And then if you also focus on your reputation, always doing what's right, even when it's uncomfortable. It's not always easy to do the right thing. It's not always comfortable to do the right thing. Sometimes it's really darned expensive in my industry to go back and rework something or do something or work on something until we get it right for a client. And then the other thing is building your platform continuously. It's not just about your first order connections, but it's about those second and third order connections. So building your platform, building your Facebook connections, your LinkedIn connections, building, even like a YouTube channel, Facebook group, those types of things help dramatically with getting out there. I see a lot of people who try to go into a launch and they try to do it cold. And it is really expensive to generate leads when you're doing it cold. But if you can do it with warmer traffic and a warmer network and a warmer platform out there that you've been building on for a while, things just kind of seem to happen. And I know a lot of people will look at me and they're like, well, you can just post something and you got 100 people sign up. And I'm like, yes. And I've been doing this for a while. And part of that is that value of that platform that I have built.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that now growing that platform is really incredible. I mean, it's really important. And a lot of people don't put enough emphasis on growing a platform, which is one of the reasons why it's important to do things like come to summits, have summits, and attend them and, get involved as well as a speaker and collect, the contact information of people who have been, who are coming into the summit. So I know you're going to be a speaker at our really awesome and amazing big summit that we've got coming up called the Global Evolution of Business Summit, coming up in April. What are you going to be talking about there?
I am going to be talking about growing and monetizing a Facebook group or a platform. You can choose how you're going to do it. And really talking about the things that you need to know once you start building a platform. A lot of people will look at me and they're like, well, you've got it so easy. And I'm like, well, there are certain things that I have done that, multiply across time that we do for clients that are, I think, super tips that are really going to help you grow and multiply your platform. And that ultimately may not yield a client today, but they absolutely do yield tons of clients as you move down the road in your business.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an exciting event. I can't wait for it. So April 19th to the 22nd, it is a huge summit, a big summit, and a free summit for you to attend. There will be a VIP upgrade as well for $97. And the VIP upgrade is going to include a lot of things. For one thing, we're going to be giving away the conversations from the chats, which means that everyone who's been there for networking for part of it is going to be able to get the chats from all of it so that they can actually reach out and connect and do more networking even after the event. But another part of the VIP upgrade is that each one of our speakers is bringing something very special to the event that you can only get and access through the VIP upgrade. And we've got some tremendous gifts that are lining up there. We're giving away the social media boot camp, which is $897. So that's going to be one of the giveaways there for people who come in and join and go into the VIP. But Haley, I know you have been building something too, something very special for the VIP upgrade.
Really nicely into mine. I have a course on growing and monetizing a Facebook group. And we'll also have downloads in there on how to get a group engaged if it's dead, how to re-energize it, how to fix it. And we talk about lots of different ways to monetize because it's not just about, hey, here, buy my products. There's lots and lots and lots of different ways to monetize a community that people overlook a lot of times.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And you are a master of that. I know that I sit humbly at the feet of Haley Gray, listening when it comes to things like building these large Facebook groups. But Haley can show you how to take a group of 1,000 and actually, monetize it, or even less. So for those of us that are thinking, well, I just have long ways to get that many people to join my Facebook group. You can do this a much smaller group, can't you?
I'm actually doing a beta test right now, just a case study, just to prove my point on that exact thing, in a Facebook group called Woo Wenches. And we started that group 3 weeks ago, and we are already monetizing it. And we have 99 members as of last night. So
that's amazing.
I'm just saying it doesn't have to be, 76,000 members in order to be making money. Yes, there are different ways to monetize it at different points, but absolutely you can monetize a group with 20 members in it if you're smart.
You know what? It is amazing. And I totally believe you because I see it myself. We have some groups. I have groups that have like 500 people in them, all the way up to like 4,000 people in them. And we have monetized. And I know that others can as well. So, and I've seen it. And I've been out looking around in your groups and some of the others that are out there on Facebook and seeing different ways it can be done. So I'm just, really excited to come and listen and learn. And I think that is a great VIP upgrade because, anyone then, even just getting started with a Facebook group, could learn how to monetize that and create another source of income for their business or for their life from a Facebook group. Who knew? By the way, all of that information is totally transferable to other kinds of social media groups. So if LinkedIn's your thing, you can have a LinkedIn group and do much the same. It's just a matter of
with Instagram, honestly, just an Instagram account. You can do it on YouTube. You can do it on Patreon. You can do it on Discord. You can do it a lot of different ways. It
Yeah,
doesn't have to
that's
just be
amazing.
Facebook.
Probably Clubhouse, very
Hmm.
similar activities as
Absolutely.
well. Yeah, so I mean, I'm really excited about that. So we have this great event that is coming up called the Global Evolution of Business Summit. And if you want to know how to find out about that, the easiest way is just go to the CIBN.com/events. On the event page, there is the free sign up right there. And you can, take advantage of that. There's other events there as well. There's always events at CIBN that you can participate in. But that's the big one. That's the hot one. And we're going to have networking gurus, leaders
Hmm.
of networks from around the world, actually, as our guest speakers there. So this is going to be a very unique business summit. And it's going to be a lot of people too. If you're looking for a place with a big crowd, this is going to be a big crowd. And there's going to be people there that are local, regional, national, and international. And yes, we will weed them out for you. We have some events that are actually lining them up where people will actually pick their groups for breakout rooms based off their location. So we've got some
So
really
cool.
remarkable opportunities for people to network. No matter what you do or where you're from, you're going to want to be there. So
That's awesome.
thank you, Haley.
Thank you for having me. This has been fun.
It has been. Let's do it again.
Absolutely. All day
All right,
long.
everybody. Happy capitalism. And we'll see you at the Global Evolution of Business Summit in April. Can't wait. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.